In this video, you're gonna learn how to use Pygame to play sounds and music in your Python programs, and also you're gonna have some fun with sound effects. But before you get started, I want to quickly tell you that I've selected for you the best Python courses. If you want to check them out, use the links in the description so that in addition to getting amazing courses, you're also gonna support this channel. So first of all, I'm gonna import Pygame, sys, and time. If you don't have Pygame installed, you need to install it using pip. So you can do something like pip install Pygame or pip3 install Pygame, like that. Okay, perfect. So we have different ways of playing audios and it depends on what you want to do. This is just a little introduction. Of course, there are a lot of things to talk about, but they are more advanced and you're probably never going to use them. So this is basically what you need to know to use sounds in your programs. The first thing you need to do is initialize the Pygame mixer. So you need to do something like Pygame mixer init, like that. So the mixer is initialized and Pygame by default has one streaming channel and 8 sound channels. Let's see what the streaming channel is and how to use it. So the first way of playing music or sounds in general is using the pygame.mixer.music module. This module is for audio streams. So basically when you play a song, the whole song is not loaded into memory, but is streamed, and it's useful when it comes to bigger audio files and long songs. The only problem with this is that you can only stream one audio file at a time, meaning if you want to play a new file, the old one is stopped. Later I'll show you how you can run multiple audios at the same time, so stick until the end. So the first thing you need to do is load the file Pygame mixer music load, and then song1.mp3. You need to have at least a song called song1.mp3 for it to work. And then if you don't need this song anymore, you can unload it. So you could do something like Pygame mixer music unload, like that, and this would unload the song one for the mixer basically. So let's have a look at a few commands and then we'll try a few of them out. So to play the current loaded music, you need to use play. So let's actually copy this. So we're gonna do something like this. So play is the first one, and then you can pass a few parameters here. Okay, so you can pass loops like this, and loops basically tells Pygame to run the same audio for that amount of times. Be careful though, because 0 means 1 time, 1 means 2 times, 2 means 3 times, and so on and so forth. This song in this case will run 3 times, and if you set it to -1, this song will keep looping and looping indefinitely. Then there is the start, and start basically tells Pygame where to start from. Okay, and for the mp3 file, this is the number of seconds from the beginning, but in the docs it's stated that this may not be accurate because of the bitrate encoding and things like that. So you need to make sure the song actually starts where you want it to start basically. So let's say 10 seconds. Okay, and finally you've got fade ms milliseconds, which means that the song will start at volume 0 and will increase the volume slowly to reach the set volume after this amount of milliseconds. So let's say 2000, which means 2 seconds. Then if you want to restart the song, you can use rewind, like that. In this case, if the music was paused, then it will remain paused. One important thing, WAV files are not supported, so in this case you can use play again to start the music from the beginning, but if the music was paused, then it will start playing anyway, so keep that in mind. And then of course you can use stop to stop it completely, or pause and then unpause to resume it basically. So this stops the song, and then when you run it again, of course it'll start from the beginning, and these are quite self-explanatory, so I'm not gonna talk about them. And then, similar to the fade in the play method, you have the method fade out, which tells Pygame to slowly fade the audio out and stop the music. So Pygame music fade out, like that. I can of course say that the fade out is going to be 1000 milliseconds long. Then you can even get the current volume, which is basically a number between 0 and 1, so 0.5 would be 50%. And of course you can get the current volume by using get volume and set a new level by using set volume. So something like get volume like this, or set volume like this. Of course you need to do something like, I don't know, 0.5 in this case. A quick interruption here. I just want to mention that I now have a Patreon account where you can support me to keep creating content like this and also get exclusive perks. If you want to check that out, I'll leave the link in the description box down below, and thank you so much for the support. Then you can get the time the music has been playing for in milliseconds, so something like get pause position like that. And of course you can set the position, so if you want to jump to another part of the song, you can use something like set position, so 10 for example. And for OGG files, that number is the number of seconds from the beginning, and for the MP3 files, that means the number of seconds from the current position. So if you want to count the seconds from the start, you need to rewind it first. Okay, so you need to rewind and then set position. Then you can check whether the music is playing or not, so you can use get busy, and this returns true or false. And lastly, you can even queue a file, which means that the queued file will run right after the first one. You can queue only one file, and if you queue a file and there is already one in the queue, then the one in the queue will be overridden by the new one. So something like queue and then here song2.mp3 like that. And then there is also a get end event and a set end event, but I'm not going to talk about them in this video. Okay, so now that we know the basics of the music module, we can actually start using it. Keep watching, because later on I'm going to show you how you can run multiple sounds at the same time, which is not possible using this module, using the music module. So let's actually delete all of this. So to run a song, we can do something like music load song1.mp3 like that. And then to run it, as I said, we need to use play like this. So let's see what we get. So Python play sounds. As you can see, nothing is working, and you get this thing here. So if you want to remove this, you can just do something like this up here. Before you import Pygame, you need to do something like from OS import this, and then you can do something like Pygame hide support prompt like that, and then 1 like this. It's really important that you do this before you import Pygame, and this should remove this message down here. So let's actually run it again. As you can see, now the message is not there anymore, but still we don't hear anything. So why is that? So basically, when you play a song, Pygame starts another thread with the music, and that means that this program keeps running. It reaches the end and exits, and because of this, everything is stopped, even the music. So it starts just for a millisecond and then it stops and you can't hear it. So to be able to let the music play, you can add an input at the end, for example, to stop the program from exiting. Okay, so we can do something like input and then enter to exit, something like this. So let's see what we get now. As you can hear, something is working. Okay, enter to exit. All right, so now the song is actually playing, which is what we wanted. But let's actually now create a little program to run different songs. Okay, so let's say that when we run a program, we get to choose between 3 songs, and then we're gonna have some fun with it, which is never a bad thing, right? So let's actually remove this. Maybe I can copy this. Okay, let's remove this. So a little menu, just a stupid one. So 2, 3, song 2, song 3. Okay, then while true, so user input, I'm gonna get the command like this, and then so if the user input is equal to 1, then I want to run the song 1. Then let's copy this. So okay, let's do this. So if the input is 2, we run song 2, and if the input is 3, we run song 3. And of course, we want a way to exit. If user input is equal to x, let's say, we exit, and we can actually write it up here as well. So x is equal to exit, something like this. So here we can actually, just to show you, after we play the third song, we can do something like time sleep 3 seconds, and then we can music, set volume, we can do something like 0.1. So we can actually see one command. I'm not going to try all of them because I think they are quite self-explanatory. So let's actually try to run it. Let's actually do something like this. Let's actually try to run the first song. Notice down here the command. As soon as I hit enter, you get already the other command. So as you could see, as soon as the song started, the next input was printed. So the first song started, and then you could see straight away command, ready for another command. So when you run the song, the whole program is not blocked, but the song is run in a separate thread, as I said earlier. So while the song is playing, you can do other things in your program, okay? Because as you could see, the program, the main thread, which is the thread where the actual program is running, wasn't stopped, because when you actually start a new sound, Pygame starts a new thread, and the new thread is the one playing the music, basically. So you could have a loop down here or whatever, and the song would keep playing. And also, have you noticed that as soon as the song changed, the other one stopped? So, as I told you earlier, you can only stream one song at a time, and this could be a limitation if you want to have a background song and then maybe some effects on top of it. Another thing, also, with the user input 3, have you noticed that the program is actually stopped for 3 seconds? Because basically time.sleep stops the whole program, the whole thread, even the main one, for 3 seconds. So, when you enter 3 and you hit enter, then you need to wait 3 seconds for the new command to show up. But this is of course just to show you that the volume changes, but this is not what you would do. So you would do something like this. So let's actually remove this. So this is basically the normal program. Let's save it. So now, as I said, notice that as soon as you hit enter and the song starts, then you already see the new prompt, the new input ready for you to actually enter something. And this is kind of cool because then you can change song while the other is playing, and you can even exit the program. So let's clear it and run it again. So now that you know this, you might understand better what is happening. So song 3. As you can see, command straight away. 2, command straight away. Exit. This is already kind of cool, right? So let's now talk about how we can actually, let's create down here, how we can actually be able to run different sounds at the same time. And to do this, we need to create sound objects. So up here, up here, we can do something like effect 1. So Pygame, mixer, sound, buzzer, short.mp3, and then 2, 3. This is the beeper, and this is splash, short because I also have the long version to show you something later on. So in this case, the sounds are loaded in memory, so they're not streamed. And then we have the same methods as the music module. So you've got play, you've got stop, fade out, set volume, get volume, which are the same. But in the play method, you've got something different. So play, here you've got loops. You've got max time instead of start. So max time is basically the number of milliseconds after which the playback is stopped automatically. And also you've got a few different methods. So you've got get num channels that returns the number of channels on which the sound is playing. So this specific sound, the effect 1 sound. So the same sound could be played more than once at the same time, which means that the same sound is played on different channels. If the sound is playing on 2 channels, you will get 2, etc, etc. Then you've got effect 1 get length, which returns the length of the sound in seconds. And then something that I don't think you'll ever use, but you never know, get row, which returns a byte string copy of the sound, but I'm not sure you'll ever use it, as I said. So in this case, as you can see, we are not using pygame.mixer.music load and then pygame.mixer.music, etc. because in that case, you just have one channel, one streaming channel, and you need to use that. In this case, you're actually using play and all the methods, stop, etc. directly on the sound object. And Pygame will actually find the right channel for you and will start playing the sound, but more about that later on. So let's actually delete those like that. So I talked about tunnels, but what are they? Basically, you can have a certain number of tunnels and each one can play a different sound. By default, you have 8 channels, but you can increase or decrease them using this command here. So you can use pygame.mixer, set number channels, and you can do something like 10, for example, okay? By doing this, you'll have 10 available channels, okay? The default is 8, and I'm just gonna leave 8. So every time you play a sound, that is run on an available channel. And I want to point out that the streaming channel is a separate channel, so it's not part of the 8 channels used by the other sounds. So you've got the 8 channels for the sounds and also 1 streaming channel for the music, basically. Let's now see how we can use those sounds. Actually, before we do that, are you enjoying the video? If so, why don't you show me your support by hitting that like button? It's really simple, and yet it means a lot to me. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel as well. I'm gonna post a lot of other videos and you don't want to miss them. So let's add a few entries to the menu. So down here we can add 4, 5, 6, and this is effect 1, effect 2, effect 3, like this. So let's also turn down the volume of the songs so we can hear the effects better. So we can do something like, let's copy this like that. So Pygame, music, set, volume, and I'm going to do something like 15 because I want to be able to hear the effects. Actually, I've just noticed that I didn't use elif. So elif is a better thing to do because otherwise you know that this would be checked and then this and this and this, but it doesn't make sense because as soon as you find the right one, all of those shouldn't be checked. It doesn't make sense, so use elif. I just made a little mistake, but as I always say, this is normal, so if you make mistakes, don't worry about it. So as I said, we need to add the effects down here. So user input is equal to 4. I'm going to run the first effect, and I'm going to copy this, so like this, and also like this. So 5, 6, effect 2, effect 3, like this. And now we're going to play a song in the background and have a lot of fun with the effects on top of it. So let's actually try to run it and see what we've got. So let's play the first song. You can hear it. All right, so let's try 6. Let's try 5. Let's try song 2. That's really nice. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. But let's actually try with longer effects. So let's exit. Honestly, just so fun. Anyways, so let's do something like with the long version of this and this and this. So, all right, perfect. So now listen carefully because the song will keep playing and all the effects are played on top of it and all at the same time. So let's actually try. Song 2. Okay, first effect. Did you hear it? So all the effects were playing at the same time. So the music was streaming on the streaming channel. Then you had one channel playing one sound, the other channel playing the other sound, and the third channel playing the third sound. Okay, I just want to mention that if you want to stop all the sounds at the same time, you can use the mixer directly. Same thing with pause and unpause, fade out, etc. So basically, if you use the mixer, instead of playing and stopping just one channel, you're playing and stopping all the channels. So pausing all the channels, fading out all the channels, etc. So you can do something like this. Let's actually say that here we want, when we enter the 6, we want all the channels to stop after, all the channels to not stop, maybe pause. And then after, let's say 3 seconds, and then after 3 seconds, I want all the channels to start playing again, to resume basically. So unpause. Okay, so let's see what we get. Let's actually do something. Let's actually use 1 second. So let's run the second song. Then let's try again. They all stop. Let's exit, clear it. So as you could see, all the channels were paused and resumed at the same time because we were using the mixer. The only channel that kept playing was the streaming channel because the streaming channel is something different. So basically when you stop, pause, unpause, etc., you're actually commanding just the sound channels and not the streaming channel. So this is a good way if you want to stop all the sound channels at the same time, all the effects at the same time, etc., etc. So this is kind of cool. If you're still watching, it means that you're one of the few people who are really serious about learning. So I'm sure you want to check out this other video you see on the screen. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and also like the video and subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!